Family, good morning. It's Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Today is Thursday. It is November 6th. Can I get a roll tide? Inside the comment box, I appreciate y'all kicking it with me this morning. It is Thursday. It is November 6th, just a couple days away from Alabama taking on LSU. Here's the playoff mat. The first one was released a couple nights ago. You can call it rat poison, whatever. I think you look at where we're at right now, and it's starting to get real. As quarterback Ty Simpson said this week, you are remembered for what you do during the month of November. Alabama has an opportunity this Saturday to put another SEC team in the ground, right? Another step forward for Kalen DeBoer's program at home, riding the nation's longest winning streak. Kalen DeBoer is undefeated at home. LSU, they have very dangerous weapons, as we know. Frank Wilson is the interim head football coach. There's a lot going on kind of off the field with LSU, but I think the truth is going into this game, and the thing about LSU, as we always know, is they have athletes. They have a quarterback that will be playing in the NFL. They have elite talent on offense. I know a couple pieces might be missing on the defensive side, but this is still a very dangerous team coming into what should be a very hostile environment. This is a rat poison game because Alabama's favored by 2 scores, so you have to be able to block out all of that. You're coming off a bye week. You're relatively healthy. We'll go over the injury report. A lot of the injuries that Alabama has, you know, some of those guys have been banged up most of the season, but it's another opportunity for a step forward. So you never want to waste a game like this. You can't waste a game like this because you will be judged on every single thing that you do, especially when you wear the crimson and white, right? So big game this weekend. Don't get it twisted. Don't sleep past this game against LSU. LSU is very capable to beat Alabama. So is Oklahoma next weekend, and Auburn on the back end too, if you want to know the truth. So you got to be able to play up to the highest standard and only get better going forward. All right, so I appreciate you guys kicking with me. Thank you so much to North Alabama Storm Chase for providing this graphic regarding the weather this weekend. It should be absolutely beautiful. The tailgate temperature 71 degrees for a 6:30 kickoff time, and then game time right at 67 under the lights at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Where else would you rather be, right, for a beautiful November weekend? 4-quarter temperature, maybe a 30% chance of rain. I don't think it will rain. I'm more on the optimistic side, but a beautiful 62 temp for the lights at Bryant-Denny Stadium. And I always say, if you haven't been to a game before, and if you're about to go to a game, under the lights at Bryant-Denny Stadium is just absolutely amazing. I mean, they've done such a great job elevating that entire atmosphere at Bryant-Denny Stadium. So, and to be honest, look, I know we didn't talk about this week, but with Morgan Wallen coming in April next year, I think that's great. I know, you know, Morgan Wallen associated with Tennessee. I'm a Morgan Wallen fan. To be honest, I'll probably be at the concert. I think it's cool, and I would imagine that a portion of those proceeds somehow go back to, you know, NIL or whatever. I'm sure it'll be completely sold out. So I'm looking forward to not only that concert being here, but maybe more concerts in the future. The last time they held a concert at Bryant-Denny Stadium, what was that, way back in like the 80s? So I think it's pretty cool. Anytime that you start to do like different things, starting to add different elements, I'm at least open-minded to like hear about it for sure. So having Morgan Wallen come in April, I'm not mad about it. I'm sure that the spring game will probably kind of float away, and it'll be, you know, maybe a practice or whatever. Or maybe it'll just be OTAs. I think that's kind of coming. That's way out there, but I think the old spring game, the old A-Day game, you know, that's kind of in the past, and you just kind of move forward. But now we move to the AM shout-outs. Let's do our AM shout-outs and then come back to the injury report. I think we just had a new fan funder as well, so we'll get to that in just a minute. Hey, Bruce, good morning to you. Thank you very much for being here on Bama Football on YouTube. Mindy, as always, we have Max checking in. We have Mark Hill. Good morning to you. We have Miss Anita Waters. Thank you very much. We have Broderick. Broderick, good morning. Miss Kimberly, how you doing? Miss Anita Waters, good morning. Good to see you. We got Bob up in the house as well. We have Eric Burrow coming to us. What's up, Eric? How you doing, bro? Where are you coming to us from? We have Miss Crystal Jones. What's up, Crystal? How you doing? Good to see you as well. Miss Kimberly. How's it going, Miss Kimberly? Thanks for kicking it with us this morning. Oh, Bruce is coming to you know what, Bruce? I always forget that you're coming to us from Fort Wayne, Indiana, man, up in the Midwest. What's the temperature up there right now? Anita Waters says, I aggressively agree with you, Max, about YouTube TV. We have some YouTube TV talk inside the comment box. What are y'all going to do this weekend? I still haven't made a decision. I have ESPN downloaded, but in terms of like what I'm going to do for the game, I don't know. I guess watch it on the app. I might go get an antenna today. I have no idea. King Grizz, what's up, bro? It's been a minute, man. Good to see you inside the comment box for sure. Brandon Carver, what's up, dog? Good to see you, man. And Bruce says it's 45 up in Fort Wayne. All right, it's 66 here in Tuscaloosa. Austin Cortez, what's up, fam? Good to see you, man. All right, what's up, DV? Thanks for joining us inside the comment box. And Marcus out in St. Pete's, man. Good to see you. Rex, what's up, bro? All right. So kind of rewinding to that Alabama injury report. Let me kind of go through this. There's a lot of guys on this list that most of them have been out for some time, but I'll walk you through it. So starting at the far left, you have Quay Rusaw. He's been out for a while with the foot injury, right? And I think he'll probably be back sooner than later. I don't know if that meant against Oklahoma or against Eastern Illinois, but it looks like Quay Rusaw on track to be able to come back sooner than later. You have Jay Kirkpatrick, who is suspended for the team indefinitely, but he's on the injury report, but you know why he's not playing clearly. Caden Jones, he's been out for a while. I think he has another foot injury as well. He's an inside linebacker. And then Jeremiah Beeman, unfortunately, he had an injury early on in the season to his leg, so he's done for the year. Questionable for this weekend is Danny Lewis. He's a tight end. Seems like he's kind of dealt with a couple nagging injuries this season, unfortunately. So, hopefully Danny Lewis at some point in time gets 100%. But you do have a couple tight ends that have stood up, right? Clearly, Josh Cuevas has been that guy. And then you have Caleb Edwards, number 81, as a true freshman, who has been playing absolutely fantastic this year for the Tide. Probable was Ryan Williams. I have no idea why he keeps popping up on the injury list. It could be something nagging. I don't know. They really haven't gone into detail about a lot of these injuries. I mean, we're at 8 games. He's been on the probable list a couple different times. Could it be a spillover from, things that happened a couple weeks ago? I have no idea. But it is interesting because it is Ryan Williams. And either Ryan Williams has the best PR guy or he's just dealing with something nagging. And I say the best PR guy because there isn't a show that goes on. And look, he's still trying to kind of get out of that slump that he's kind of in. But we talk about Ryan Williams every single show because he just pops up, whether it's a new commercial, whether it's on an injury report. It's just like, we're talking about Ryan Williams. In fact, I do think, though, if he's good to go, I have a question for you coming up in terms of, players who would make a big play in this upcoming game. You can never sleep on Ryan Williams. Number 2, he's that good. I posted this on the Facebook channel on the right, the healthy Isaiah Horton and Lazier Brooks, and people got mad. They got mad that I listed these guys on the injury report. And so I've been finding people get confused on the injury report if the players that were healthy and then they got removed, if they're not still on, they're like, what does that mean? Does that mean that they're not playing? I get why it's confusing. So I just started to list that Isaiah Horton and Lazier Brooks, that they're healthy. Because I promise you, if I took them off the list, the first question I'd get is Lazier Brooks and Isaiah Horton healthy? So I've learned with 116,000 subscribers and 70,000 followers on Facebook, you can make if you can make a small percentage kind of happy or understand, then so be it. But that's why I just list it. But clearly, that Isaiah Horton was hurt last game, which is a long time ago. Lazier Brooks didn't play against South Carolina, but they will be in action this Saturday. And Coach Kalen DeBoer actually said this about a week and a half ago. But it's just you kind of have to reiterate that stuff going forward. So anyways, the thing with Alabama, and I think why they'll be able to win a national championship or at least compete for one, is the depth. You could replace all these players listed on the board, even all 3 of those wide receivers, and still be able to play at a very, very high level. Not a lot of other programs could say that in the country. Think about Quay Rusaw. He's one of the best defensive players in the country on this team, and he goes out, and the player behind him, Yanzi Pierre, is actually better than him. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Williams steps out, and you have Lazier Brooks that let's just Let's just call it like it is. Lazier Brooks is playing at one of the highest levels in the entire country for the wide receiver, right? Isaiah Horton goes out. Well, you just sub in guy after guy after guy. Danny Lewis goes out. You just sub in Caleb Edwards. So, I mean, over here at Alabama, that's why in the 16-17 game type NFL season that college football now is, nobody has depth. Like, there's like 4 teams maybe that have depth, but not depth like Alabama, all right? So I have a question for you. Inside the comment box, and I'll go full screen. So I'll go from left to right. Who has a big game this weekend out of the following players, okay? So let's start on the right, and you type it in inside the comment box. Ryan Williams, type A. For Lazier Brooks, type B. For Daniel Hill, type C. For Yanzi Pierre, type D. And for Dejon Lee, type mustard. I think kind of looking at this map and looking at this matchup, and we'll talk more about it as we navigate through this show. The thing about Ryan Williams is probable or healthy or whatever. I mean, he's just a play away if he's not getting held by a corner of beating someone off the top and scoring like a 70, 80-yard touchdown. I understand that the deep ball hasn't necessarily been here for Alabama this season. If you kind of rewind to the first 8 games of the season, you know, they haven't been a deep strike team, right? It's been high efficiency passes that have moved the ball down the field. I will say, though, don't sleep on that deep ball. Like, it'll hit at some point. And I know Alabama, they were 1 of 9 against South Carolina, but the deep ball will come, I think, eventually, kind of just like that running game. And I had a video yesterday that went out kind of in the afternoon. Man, nobody watched it at all. I think people are just furious about the running game or the lack thereof. And until Alabama is able to run the ball, people don't want to hear about the running game, period. Paul Kirk says, what's up, Kyle? What brand of hoodie is it? It's fresh. I think you may have told us before. You know what? It's crazy. I don't know if it's because I'm getting into my 40s now, but you know where it has who's kind of like elevated their gear? At least here in Tuscaloosa. I mean, I live in a small little country town here, but Ace Hardware. So, like, all the gear that you see me wear now, because I can't wear Alabama football gear, is from Ace Hardware. So my daughter, she has theater right next to Ace. So, like, yesterday when I went to drop her off for voice in the afternoon, I just go to Ace Hardware and, like, look around, and they've kind of, like, added inventory about, like, whether it's camo or whether it's, like, this particular hat. And it's I'll show you what it is. It's like a little quail. That's the type of hat. And they have a bunch of them. So I've kind of been like, you know, adding more hats to the arsenal, even though I have a million Alabama hats that I need to get rid of, I guess. But yeah, I have a ton. So I guess Ace Hardware, that's where I shop now in my 40s. Looking at the big board right here, I think I would probably go with Yanzi Pierre. I think that Yanzi Pierre is a player that has just, not that he's exceeded any type of expectation, but Yanzi Pierre is absolutely a monster, 100%. He's been a guy who waited his turn. He's been a guy who has been absolutely dangerous in every sense of the word on the defensive side of the ball. He has the most sacks on the team. He didn't even start this year. He didn't complain on social media. And when number 42 is on defense, the team is better. And I understand that Quay Rusaw at some point in time is coming back. I think it's going to be very hard to take 42 off the field. You know what I'm saying? So I think that if I have to vote on this, and I think it'll be instrumental to this particular game, because you have to get after Garrett Nussmeier in some way, some shape, is Yanzi Pierre is that guy. People asking me about the Why No Alabama gear, because it was a trademark infringement issue. So the trademark is selective. So I was asked not to wear Alabama gear on the show. So nobody's at fault. Like, these are laws that exist as the channel gets bigger. I've always kind of had to go through metamorphosis. Some people can wear Alabama gear on their YouTube channel. I can't. And so that's just no one's at fault. Those are just kind of the rules that we go by. So every single time that, I continue to navigate the YouTube channel, I go through different things. So I've been very kind of open about that. And without telling you all like the legal stuff, that's why. So, but Yanzi Pierre, yeah, number 42, absolute beast, absolute monster. I mean, the guy is, so talented in every sort of the way. And that's why I know you guys are asking me like, hey, Kyle, what you going to start? Like, why are you talking about Auburn, or why are you talking about Texas? Because I'll probably have to change the channel to cover more college football on a general basis to continue to support my family. Otherwise, I'm going to have to just do something completely different. So it'll be like Alabama football with the side of college football or something like that. So that's kind of probably what's coming down the pipe, with now everybody having their own YouTube show. So, but that's how it works. No, I can't pay for a license to use it. Hey, Bob, what's up, bro? We see you inside the comment box. Mike G says I can wear whatever gear I want. Actually, that's not true. So, learn about trademark and stuff. It's wild. It's certainly interesting. And then I have Mustard over here. I think with Dejoun Lee, he has been a guy, man, like the defense has taken major steps forward. And I think a player like Dejoun Lee, like, how do you keep him off the field? You know what I'm saying? This guy came in as a true freshman. He's probably one of the top freshman corners that we've had in quite some time. And his ceiling is so high. He is a sure shot player to go to the NFL eventually, right? Like he just all these guys will be in the NFL. And I think that probably why I didn't choose Daniel Hill on this particular graphic is I think people still are sleeping on Jam Miller. And nothing against Daniel Hill. I think he's a very complimentary piece to Alabama's run game, but the guy hasn't even ran for 90 yards. In fact, AK Deer has more yards than Daniel Hill. And that's fact, okay? So until they start really going ground heavy and making him the number one running back on this team, I know it's nice to see, but I think that, Jam Miller, people I feel are disrespecting him still. And I think that he showed even last game. There was a run that I guess I was the only one that saw this run, right? He had this nasty run. It was side by side, and it was negated because of an offensive holding call. Oh, Bob, don't start this again, dog. So now, look, I'm going to have to go into the YouTube channel and block you, bro. And you know what? So when you do this, Bob, you're really being you're drawing attention to yourself. And what that's doing is it's showing maturity, because this is a channel where we're trying to have conversation about Alabama football. So you can bounce out, bro. Make a shirt with the elephant riding a wave. No, I ain't going to do anything else. I'm just going to put on my backwards hat and my camo shirt and my black hoodie and just go forward. All right. So anyways, out of the big, out of the people, on this board, I think all of them could have splashes. But if I have to choose, Yanzi Pierre by far and away is absolutely just tremendously amazing in every sense of the word. I'm so happy about the way that Yanzi's been played. With the college football rankings just released, kind of the rat poison board, right? You look at a pivotal game taking place this coming weekend. And as you can see, you have BYU at number 7 and you have Texas Tech at number 8, which I thought was interesting. And I was a little bit mad about that at first because I don't feel that the Big 12 deserves to have 2 teams even in the playoffs, let alone number 7 and 8, right? So I think as I kind of slept on it, I feel that the committee is going to let these 2 teams kind of play it out, right? And almost they're already in the playoffs, if that makes sense. So BYU and Texas Tech, they play this weekend, which is amazing. And I think College Game Day is going to be here, right? So you have BYU traveling to Lubbock to take on Texas Tech. Texas Tech is a 10.5-point favorite in this particular game. They're 8-1 in the season. BYU is undefeated. And Aaron, what's up? I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I know you always have my back. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for the super chat. Love it. Thank you so much. So I don't know. Is there anyone inside the comment box that thinks somehow that BYU is going to win this game? I really don't. Maybe they play inspired because they'll kind of be the underdog going from Utah to Lubbock. I don't know. If they're 9-0, then clearly, another step forward for BYU. It's just, I think the committee told us it's about how many games that you win rather than the type of opponents that you win. Like, that's what always makes me frustrating about the college football playoffs is like, if you just finish 11-0, regardless of what conference you're in the playoffs, right? But if you haven't played that tough schedule, I think you're a paper tiger, 100%. So Oregon takes on Iowa. That's a moderately interesting game. If Oregon's able to beat Iowa, this would be Oregon's best win of the season. When you pop open the hood and look to the teams that Oregon has played, they haven't played anybody, nobody. Their best win right now is against Penn State in overtime, and their second best win is against Wisconsin. So Oregon desperately needs this game going to Iowa City, right? You have Notre Dame taking on Navy. Navy is 7-1 atop of the AAC conference, and Notre Dame is independent. And I feel, as I've explained many different times, that it's unfair that Notre Dame is independent and they get to make a bid for the playoffs every single year, and they don't even play the type of schedule or opponents to get into the playoffs. But here we are. They're a 2-loss team, and kind of reading the transcript of why they wanted Notre Dame into the playoffs at number 10 is they felt that they've just won 6 games in a row and that they have one of the best running back tandems in the country. So, look, Notre Dame figured out a long time ago. As you know, you kind of have to, have the brains to get into Notre Dame. And they figured that a long time ago. They're like, why would we join a conference when we have to battle it out with all these, other teams when we can just stay independent? Our brand's big enough to get our own TV contract. We beat one ranked team. Heck, if we lose 2 games, at least let's keep them close, and the committee will just keep us in. Notre Dame is the smartest team in college football by a million miles. They never will join the ACC, and the more that they continue to get into the playoffs, the less and less that you'll see Notre Dame join a conference. It doesn't make sense. Why would you? Why would you even want to go in battle with the Big 12 or the ACC, which Vanderbilt could win, which Tennessee could win? Think about this. If Vanderbilt was independent, they'd be in the playoffs too. They really would. If Vanderbilt or if Tennessee, right? So, you know what? If Mississippi State was independent, they'd probably be making a run for the playoffs. Hey, fam, as you know, this video is powered by our sponsor, Sleeper. All right, so when you download the app, you get a $20 credit on top of your account. Get a $100 deposit match up to $100 when you use the promo code, which is Tailgate. That is my personal promo code, right? It's available in 25 states, and terms and conditions apply. All right, I play Sleeper, and I'm going to show you what type of parlay that I'm going for in 2 seconds, which is right now. So where is that? How did I miss that? Hold on, fam. All right. I guess I had it over here. My bad. So we have to redo that. All right. So here are my sleeper picks for this weekend. All right. So I'll go full monitor so y'all can see it. And remember, when you use a promo code, you can play Sleeper basically more or less for this weekend's games, right? And they have all games, not only for college, but for NFL as well. So get in with Sleeper. All right, so our first one right here on the board, and it works really well on your interface on your phone, is you have Ty Simpson and you have Garrett Nussmeier head-to-head, okay? So let's do this together. So Garrett Nussmeier, will he throw for more than 223 yards against Alabama? Your job is to answer more or less for Garrett Nussmeier, more or less against Alabama. More or less than 223 yards. Alabama's pass defense is actually really good. Garrett Nussmeier is very good as well, and he has the weapons. I think usually I don't go over 200 yards often against Alabama's pass defense, but I'll say everyone's saying less now. I was about to say more, but now you guys got me tripping. I oddly might say more on this, just because of, I think, the weapons that he has. Not to say that he's gonna throw for like 300 yards and score, but man, everybody's saying less now. You know what? I'm not gonna go against the undefeated. I've learned my lesson. I thought about it. There's no way I'm going against you guys. Only Tonette was going, Tonette, we better turn around and follow the rest of the undefeated. So we're going less on Garrett Nussmeier. Okay, now, interesting point here with Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson at 268, more or less for Ty Simpson. You know, he's thrown for over 254 yards 6 times this year. Rarely does he go over 300 yards. I think this is an interesting, maybe do we go less here for Ty Simpson? Just barely. Like, I bet you he throws for like 254. In fact, he's thrown for 253 the last 2 games. So, what, you know, I'm saying more or less for Ty. I'm saying less. All right, Sam is going for 300. Miss Kimberly's going for more. Robert's saying more. Miss Amanda Jane is saying less, but close. I say I'm with you, Amanda. I think it'll be very, very close. Anita saying more. And Suburban Vampire, dude, what's up? I love this username. Less, but it'll be close. Either way, this Ty Simpson one this one's basically like, it's 50-50, right? Okay, over here on the right, let's do just Jam Miller, okay? So far we have less Garrett Nussmeier, less Garrett Nussmeier. We went less for Ty. How about this one, Jam Miller? Jam Miller, 52 yards. Woo! I bet you all say less. Wouldn't it be crazy if we say less? And he goes for like 100. You know, Jam Miller's gone for over 100 yards just one time this year. It was against Vanderbilt. He ran for like 137. I know the running game has kind of been, you know, stuck in the mud, but do we have more or less for Jam with 52 yards? Another tough one. Robert's like, it better be a lot more. And the Suburban Vampire is saying less for both Barry and Jam. Oh, man, this is a tough one here with Alabama's running backs right now. As confident as I want to be in terms of like Alabama establishing a running game and moving forward, until I see it consistently, it's hard for me to jump on board with anything like this. So I think Jam probably gets his. He probably runs for like 42. Daniel Hill probably runs for like 20. And, you know, something else happens like Ty Simpson with like 15. So I would say collectively Alabama's running game probably less than 150, and I don't think they go for this. So I'll take less across the board on this model. So that will be my 4-player parlay is less on all of these, and there's always one like Barry. I could see him busting open like a long run to bust this open. So we'll see. But remember, download Sleeper, get $100 deposit match up to $100. So you put in $100, get $100 in your account, and when you use the promo code tailgate, but you got to use that promo code, which is tailgate. All right. Yesterday during the Hey Coach show, right, which happens every Wednesday night, part of the Crimson Tide Sports Network, right? Coach Kalen DeBoer has his Hey Coach show, and he's asking the fans at Bryant-Denny Stadium to really show out and turn up. I'm going to ask the fan base that they got more in them from the beginning to the end. I know that they're used to winning games at home, 16 games in a row, right? And let's not take it for granted. And let's do all our part to make it a special night on Saturday. First of all, I love that because Coach Saban used to do that during the Wednesday night as well. He used to get to the fans and was like, look, we need your support. And they really do. I think in this world of any given Saturday, Alabama fans are starting to understand that they have to sustain that energy for 4 quarters, and it really does. When the stadium is electric, it helps on a couple different things. Number one, it makes it impossible for Garrett Nussmeier to communicate with his players, right? That's number one. Number two, the players can feel it. So you turn up when you have 103,000 behind you. And number three, recruiting. You've seen all the big names that are coming into town. when those recruits feel that type of energy inside your body, like if you've been to a game and you feel that, man, that goes hard, right? And I think that, 16 games is something that is certainly notable. It's the number one winning streak in the country at home. Alabama is also undefeated at Bryant-Denny under Coach Kalen DeBoer, which is pretty amazing, right? And LSU's last win at Bryant-Denny was back in 2019. I know JTL remembers that. I was at that game. That was the craziest game I've ever seen, I think. 2019, I would say the craziest games that I've seen at Bryant-Denny Stadium, just real quick, is probably that 2019 game when Joe Burrow came in here with all those weapons. But Bama had weapons too. That game was it was like a Super Bowl of two college football teams. And then last year's game when Georgia and Alabama went head to toe and Georgia came back to take the lead and then Ryan Williams went crazy. Those are probably the craziest games that I've seen at Bryant-Denny Stadium, like in person, right? So, look, Coach Kalen DeBoer telling fans to show up this Saturday. Coach Kalen DeBoer also talked about the LSU defense, right? He says, I think they're solid all the way around and got some guys who can lock you down on the perimeter, talking about the corners, right? And obviously, they get to the quarterback. So they're a very physical team. It's going to be that type of a game. I think when we think about LSU, we think about playmakers and it being physical. I was looking at LSU stats this morning, and I noticed that they don't have one guy that even has 2 quarterback sacks. It's rather a variety of a bunch of different guys that are going to come after the quarterback, whereas Alabama right now is led by Yonze and LT Overton in terms of being responsible for 46% of Alabama sacks. Did you know that stat? So LSU, I think from a defensive standpoint, you look at what they've done in the last 2 games, right? Like, what are you doing lately? Well, they allowed 49 against Texas A&M, and before that, they allowed 31 to Vanderbilt. So those are some high numbers. And now with Brian Kelly out, it's going to be interesting to see Frank Wilson coming off this bye week and to see how this defense plays and to see if they can play inspired football against one of the hottest teams in college football and really the hottest quarterback in all of college football, Ty Simpson, right? So big challenge for LSU. And I think, look, everybody knows that the key to beating Alabama is you got to get at least one of the keys. Like if I'm playing Alabama football, one of the main keys is to pressure Ty Simpson. When he is under duress, when anybody's under duress, they're more susceptible to make bad plays. But Alabama's offensive line, they've taken steps forward, and plus, Ty Simpson has been able to get the football out very quickly on those high-efficiency passes. So, look, LSU has a total of 10 interceptions on defense, which is pretty notable. They can get turnovers, but I think if they can't get to Ty, then I think it's kind of business as usual, and I think that they will struggle keeping Alabama off the field. I love this next stat right here I love this quote paired with these stats regarding LT Overton and Yonze Pierre. So, Coach Kalen DeBoer, speaking about LT Overton last night, he called him Mr. Consistent. He brings his best every single day. It's really important to him to be a great football player and a great team, and he's the complete package, right? Said Coach Kalen DeBoer on the Hey Coach Show. So I started looking into it, and I'll put these stats on the screen. LT Overton has 4 quarterback hurries and 3 sacks. And then I paired this along with Yonze Pierre. And I was like, because remember in the beginning of the show as I was talking about Yonze Pierre? Look at this. He has 8 quarterback hurries and 4 sacks. The tandem is responsible for 46% of Alabama's sacks this season. So Alabama has 15 total sacks this year. Yonze has 4 of them, and LT has 3. I think we once again have to give it up to Coach Kalen DeBoer in terms of him getting LT Overton to transfer. This was a hell of a transfer, right? Hey, Messiah for life, bro. Good. I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Right? I mean, because LT Overton, I knew when he came in, we were like, okay, it sounds good. It sounds like he's going to be a part. Yo, you take LT Overton off the field, and I know you got, and even only at Bama, you could say, well, Keon Keeley's right behind him. Yeah, he is, and he's pretty damn good. But LT Overton has been a baller. And now paired up with Yonze Pierre, this is people. I'm probably one of the only people that have said this so far, but But I think LT Overton and Yanzi Pierre are probably starting to be one of the best tandems in the SEC. These guys have 7 quarterback sacks, okay? That's 46% of the sacks this season. I bet a stat that you didn't know. So Yanzi Pierre, it's going to be hard to take him off the field regardless. He's earned that. He's playing at a high level. And LT Overton probably doesn't get enough notoriety, but God, we're talking about him today. Ty Simpson, earlier this week, he had this to say. It's all about what you do in November. When he spoke to the media on Tuesday, he said this. We say you remember for what you do in November. Well, these next couple of games are how you're going to be remembered, how you play. When people are tired, they're hurt, it's a long season. We've got 4 good football teams ahead of us. 100%, man. You got to be the leader, and you got to understand where you're at. The playoff rat poison board comes out right before you go on your 4-game stretch to one of your goals, which is the SEC championship. If you start reading that paper and like, look, we're already in the playoffs. No, you're not. You haven't even clinched a spot at the table for the SEC championship, all right? So, look, we can look at it, and I love to talk about the playoffs, and I'll talk about them every single day until, they actually come because I'm in the content world. But if I'm a coach, I'm like, hey, I know that the playoffs are on TV, but it's basically like watching a cartoon. It's not real. None of that is real. Nothing. All of it is going to change week by week. And until we're literally clinched a spot or until we're actually in the playoffs, the only time it's important for us to look at the playoffs is when we understand who we're going to play in the playoffs. Up until then, we're not even in the playoffs, which is actually true. So if they lose to LSU, they could. If they lose to Oklahoma, they definitely could. You think I'm gassing up Oklahoma? Oklahoma has a defense to beat Alabama 100%. And we all know how that back end could go against Auburn, right? So just like Jimmy is saying inside the comment box, you haven't won anything yet. And so Ty's absolutely right. So it should give you confidence in your quarterback to understand kind of where you're at, right? And he has that awareness. Couple notes on Simpson. Simpson had a season low percentage against South Carolina, only 55%, right? But he still managed to bring Alabama back at the back end, right? That 4-quarter drive was dope. Ty Simpson has thrown for over 250 yards this season 6 times. That's why I was asking you about that 258 this weekend on Sleeper. His 20-1 touchdown to interception ratio is one of the best in the country, clearly, right? The most yards he's rushed for this season is 25, which was against Wisconsin. And still, I think his ability to run, people still don't know how dangerous he is. He just really hasn't utilized that yet. But if Ty Simpson needs to take off and run for 60 yards, whatever, he can do that. I'm telling you. He is absolutely an athletic quarterback, 100%. All right, JTL, he's an LSU fan. Let's see what he says inside the comment box. Kyle, if Nussmeier stinks it up early, he'll be ready for a quarterback change, and he's a runner. Oh, who's the backup over there, JTL? I don't even know who the backup is at LSU. I'd appreciate that inside the comment box. And then Chris Waltman says, Kyle and Bama Nation just got here. Stay relentless. What's up, Chris? Good to see you, man. Welcome on in the show. Thank you for joining us in the back end. Our next sponsor bit is by TickPick. All right, so you have to download the app and HMA. I'd be curious. Someone do some homework, and I think Dan Caraway's has TickPick. Is for Morgan Wallen at Bryant Denny. Now, remember, if you download and use the promo code, which is HMA, then you get 20% off. So what better place to use it for than Morgan Wallen next April coming to Bryant Denny Stadium? Here's a quick message from TickPick. Please support them, download the app, and use the promo code, which is HMA. Be back in 1 minute. Family, what's going on? Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I don't know about you guys, but one of my biggest pet peeves is hidden fees. When buying sports tickets, why can't there just be one particular price that is set, and that's the price that I actually pay? If there was only an app where hidden fees didn't exist, well, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor of today's video, TickPick. All right, huge shout out. With over 20 million downloads, TickPick has you covered. NBA, NFL, concerts, festivals, you name it. TickPick gives you the lowest price guaranteed, no fees. What you see is what you actually pay, okay? And, of course, I have a promo code for you. You can use the promo code, which is HMA, for $20 off your first set of tickets at TickPick with the purchase of more than $100. That's $20 off any tickets with the promo code HMA. Make sure you click the link in the description box and you download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, TickPick. All right, appreciate y'all supporting TickPick and using that promo code, which is HMA. All right, as we turn to keys to the game against LSU, help me out. Will you post one key to the game that you think just has to be sustainable for Alabama to beat LSU this weekend? Just one key to the game. Who Dat fan? What's up, man? Good to see you. He says, I'm already prepping for us. Oh, he's excited for LSU. What's up, Who Dat, man? Be safe if you're coming into Tuscaloosa. And by the way, if you are from Baton Rouge or you're an LSU fan and you're coming into town, you can let me know if you need a place to eat in Tuscaloosa, what to do, where to see. One place that I've been hitting up recently has been the Sanctuary. Has anybody, if you're in the Tuscaloosa area, have you been to the Sanctuary? It's kind of, they have a bunch of different apps, and then they have a good drink menu, and then they have a gigantic TV. But the best part of it is they have live music. Tuesday night, I think, is jazz night. And then they have a bunch of local artists that cruise in. So good place to definitely kick it in Tuscaloosa. It's kind of where the locals go. People don't know about it yet until I just told them. David from Louisiana says, score on the first drive, do something we haven't done well. Yeah, besides that first game of the season. And Who Dat answers back, and he's just like, we'll be prepping for it. All right. For me, in terms of keys to the game, I'll go full screen. I think, it's as easy as consistent play from Ty Simpson. This quarterback, the one thing that makes him so dangerous is he's not overly fancy, right? I think the high efficiency passes makes up for Alabama's lack of running game. And when you have a 7-yard completion, when you have a 12-yard completion, when you have a 20-yard completion, when you have a quarterback that can convert on third downs, that's going to move the chains. And that ties right into my broken record of the week, which is control the time of possession. Alabama has been able to control the time of possession against the majority of its opponents, and it's frustrating if you're playing Alabama because it seems like they always have the football. That's part of the system over here, is they don't want to get into a shootout. Can they get into a shootout? Can they get into street fight? 100%. Of course they can, right? They've showed that they can go lightning mode, that they can go 2 minute and work the clock and drive down the field 80 yards, 60 yards, whatever, but they don't want to do that. They want to control the game. They want their offense out on the field, and they want your defense to be tired and worn down. So that's a critical part of the game again. And that's going to be a critical part of Alabama's game for the entire season, okay? And if they can get that running game going, then time of possession will be that much more important for Alabama. A few big plays won't hurt. And if we think about it, when's the last time the offense has really made a big play? You know what I'm saying? I haven't thought about it. It's like it's been a while since Alabama's made like a really big play on offense. The defense has been coming up with big plays, right? I can name, like, when I talk about the big plays for this year, it's all on the defensive side. There's been a couple, offensive plays for sure, but not like the defense. I'm talking like an 80-yard screen. I'm talking like an 80-yard pass. I'm talking like a big 90-yard run, right? Ethan's going back to Wisconsin, right? Was it that 75-yard, what was it, a double reverse pass or whatever against Wisconsin? Yeah, like a big play won't hurt, especially in the first half, because the momentum just keeps on rolling from a big play. The defense has been coming with it for sure, but a big play won't hurt. I don't want to get into a shootout with LSU, okay? I don't want to test Garrett Nussmeier. Last year, I thought he underperformed in Jalen Milroe. What do he have, 183 yards rushing on him or whatever? Look, I don't want to test Aaron Anderson. I know he's a good player. I don't want to test their 6'7" wide receiver. I know what those guys are capable of. Keep them on the sideline. Don't make this a 38-37 type game. Make this a 31-14 type game, which I haven't even came up with my score prediction. We'll do that tomorrow. But what's the total for this game? Is it even 60? Right? What's the total on this game? I'm going to just guess and say like 55.5. Is that the over or the total? So I don't want to get in the shootout with LSU. I get it. Look, it's just I still feel that their quarterback is good despite, the lack of season, the lack of wins that LSU has. Create turnovers. It is part of it game, whether that's a Bray Hubbard interception or, Dejon Lee comes up with something, or 49.5, almost got it right on the button. Yeah, and that tells you that Vegas knows how Alabama plays. Alabama don't want to get in the shootout. Another key part of this game is page number 42. As I've been talking about, Yanzi Pierre has been playing with his hair on fire. Page 42 once again. This guy might be playing at the highest level on the entire team outside of Ty and Jeremy. I think if I had to just come up, Kyle, who's the top 3 players for Alabama football right now? I go Ty Simpson, Jeremy Bernard, Yanzi Pierre. There you go. Right? That's how good Yanzi's playing. He's got to get to the quarterback once again. Don't get fancy inside the red zone. All right, I know Alabama, Ryan Grubb, I love him. Everybody loves Ryan Grubb, Alabama's offensive coordinator who's absolutely balling out. But don't get fancy, especially 10 yards out, man. Don't get fancy. I don't want to see Caden Proctor throwing the ball. I don't want to see Caden Proctor running a reverse. All that stuff was great in the first half of the season. Now we've turned towards playoff, championship, making a run type year. So, you get inside the red zone, a little play action to Josh Cuevas. I'm down with that. Maybe that's as fancy as you get. But, let's not overcomplicate things because Alabama clearly has the weapons to just pound it right down LSU, okay? And then at the end, man, just win, baby. It don't matter if it's 24-21. Just like they beat Georgia. It don't matter if it's by 1 point. It don't matter by an inch or a mile. Just win, baby. And that's, you just got to stack the W's. In the SEC, I think fans have forgotten how hard it is to win, right? Ask Auburn. They lost their football coach. Ask Arkansas. They lost their football coach. Ask LSU. They lost their football coach, okay? A football coach who won over 70% of their games. Winning games in the SEC is hard as hell. Every single week, the teams are good. This conference is still not getting the notoriety that it deserves in the college football playoff outlook. I really don't. 2 teams from the Big 12? Are you kidding me? The 6th ranked team from the SEC would win the Big 12, 100%. Okay? So I talked about this yesterday for your LSU fans that are here. Saban's not going. I don't even want to talk about this. You can wake up. Wake up from your dreams. Wake up, man. Stop watching Looney Tunes. Wake up. He's not going to coach. He's posted on his couch watching football in a blanket. All right? I already talked about that. All right? And I talked about this yesterday too. But what I'm saying is right here, the first college football playoff rankings, right? Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, all from the Big Ten. The SEC is so talented, I think that they could have even one more team. So you take out a team from the Big 12 and you put in, I don't know, Texas or Vanderbilt, probably Texas because they just beat Vanderbilt, and all those other conferences. You take out Notre Dame because they already lost 2 times. I know by a small margin, but still, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, kind of that's where we're at. Roll Tide 1026. Roll Tide, love your channel. Thank you, dog. I love you too, man. And David from Louisiana, you better call in tomorrow for my call-in show. If you don't know, Fridays, we take calls, and it's our score prediction show. All right? So that's where I give you the opportunity to give your score prediction. I gave you mine. I haven't even thought about the score for this game. I really haven't. I would imagine if you ask me right now, I'd probably say like 31-10, something like that. Is LSU, that probably seems feasible, right? 31-10, something like that. That might be, I'll have to think about it a little bit more. But scoring on Bama is going to be tough, man. I think on Saturday. And I think the offense will be able to kind of just play time possession and kind of do its thing. It'll be a nice Saturday for sure, 100%. Marcus from St. Pete, you're calling tomorrow, 100%, man. David, Louisiana, you call in too. Crimson Angel, calls will probably be like 10 minutes after I start the show. All right, so stick around as news happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I know the bye weeks. Trust me, you get to this point in time and you're like, damn it, I already won a football game. It's coming. Trust me, I'm like that too. I'm like, man, what else am I going to talk about, right? Because you have one more day and then the day after and then the game's in the evening time. I'm living the same life like you, fam. And I still don't know what I'm going to do for my TV in terms of YouTube. What have you guys done? I'm going to poll you guys. Before you guys leave, don't leave yet. Let me ask you a question. What are you doing? What are you doing for TV? And that means like for ESPN, to watch ESPN, okay? What are you doing for, let me rephrase that. How are you watching ESPN/ABC? Okay, I'm going to say Hulu. Fubu? Is it Fubu? Am I even saying that right? What's the other one? Sling or ESPN app? Or no, I'm going to say Antenna. Honestly, I might go this afternoon because I got to pick up my daughter. She has a dentist appointment. After the dentist appointment, I might go and get an Antenna. All right, so I posted a poll, and so far it looks like Hulu or Fubu are kind of the top. And you know what? I get it because Hulu's owned by Disney. I mean, wow, now everybody's with Hulu. Sling, cable. I had cable for a little while. What are you doing, DR? How are you watching the game, dog? Don't tell me you're just going to rely on me for the watch along. I might be relying on you guys for the watch along. You guys might be having to run the watch along on Saturday. And you know what's going to really piss me off is if somehow you guys sign up for these different things. I sign up, I go get an antenna, whatever, right? And then I come back and Saturday morning, we get an email and it's like YouTube TV and ESPN have shook hands. And, now you're going to be charged $140. Look, and I saw this morning. I don't know who posted it, but it was easier to watch TV from a consumer's perspective back in like 2010, right? But now, since we have all these apps, we have all these channels, everybody has a YouTube channel. Now it's more confusing. But it seems like Hulu is the winner. I'll let you. Does anybody have an antenna? Does anyone even know what that is? Am I too old for this now? I'm going to go get an antenna. I'm going to hook it up to the back of my TV like the old days, the coax cable. I'm going to point those bunny ears, and I'm going to see what happens. Maybe one day I'll be ahead of you on the watch along. I don't know. Oh, so DR, you got C-Spire. Is C-Spire like cable? And Mindy has Xfinity. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, see, Randall, talk to me, dog. Randall's saying, I have an antenna. You will get maybe 40 local channels? What the? Yo, I'm going to pop that antenna, see what's up. No, Eric, I'm telling you, man, because I pay, what am I paying right now? I'm paying like $95 for YouTube TV. Oh, man. All right. And we all started paying like what, 30? It was like 34 or whatever. So, man, look, like I want TV to be my brain, like less space. You know what I'm saying? I want to turn it on and just watch TV. I don't want to have to figure out all this other stuff. It's just like turn the TV on and put the game on. That's it. All right. All right, fam. Well, that's today's show. Thanks for kicking it with me today right here on Bama Football on YouTube. News as it happens. Remember, when those videos come out, drop the thumbs up, get inside. I really appreciate the super chats, you guys being here. And if you guys want to become a fan funder, hit that join button. There's a couple different levels to hit. I know you're like, what? One more thing to sign up for? Yeah, but you're signed up to support your boy Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube, which I really appreciate. Hope you guys had a good show today. And I appreciate you guys kicking it with me this morning right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on this fine Thursday, November 6th. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I love you, fam. Back as news happens.